everyone, and welcome back to our channel once again. So, as you know, in this particular playlist, we try to analyze the insider trading report that is publicly available on the NSE's website and plan our swing trades based on that particular report, of course, after applying some filters. Yeah, you guys heard me right. The insider trading information of the stocks is publicly available on NSE's website, and after a couple of minutes I will show you from where you could download this particular report. But before moving forward to that, let me just give you a quick disclaimer. This video is strictly for educational purpose only, so before making any decision of buying or selling on any financial instrument, do consult with your financial advisors. All right, so moving forward, this particular insider information report of stocks gets updated on a daily basis on NSE's website. And in order to keep up with the market, we have to do this analysis on a daily basis. Now, you might be thinking, and you might notice in my playlist that um, I have not been making this, I have not been uploading this analysis regularly. There were some gaps, and after a couple of days, I am uploading the analysis today. So, why that? So, actually, on that particular report, which I will show you where to download from, uh, I apply some filters, and there were no stocks which passed all the filters or parameters that I applied. So I thought it would be of no use to upload the video or even record it just to show the process, unless we have some stocks to plan our trade. All right, so without wasting any time, as you can see on my computer screen, I'm on the NSC's website homepage. Scroll down a little bit, and you will locate corporate announcements right here. Scroll down a little bit more and click on view all right here. Okay, once you have done that, since we are looking for insider trading information, scroll down and you would locate the insider trading tab right here and click on that. Okay, so as I mentioned, I will be doing this analysis to plan my swing trade, and that's why I will be downloading the data of 3 months. So there are multiple time frames available: 1 day, 1 week, 6 months, 1 year, etc. etc. You could try them on, but for my analysis, I will keep the data point for 3 months only. So I'll click on that, and after clicking it, the data will get refreshed. Just download the file and it will be downloaded on your downloads folder on your PC or laptop, whichever you are using, and it will be downloaded in an .csv format, and you could open it in an Excel format. All right, so I have already downloaded it. When you open this particular CSV file, it will look something like this. On the top, you can see the name of the Excel file mentions the date from where to where this particular report has the data. So it's from 14th of April to 14th of July. That is 3 months exactly. All right. So before starting off with the actual analysis or applying the actual filters, I have to apply some dummy filters, which would just condense the data. Please don't go. Please don't get overwhelmed with seeing this huge amount of data and so many columns and rows. We don't have to crunch each and every detail present in the Excel sheet. So before moving forward to the real analysis, I would just apply some filters and delete some data. So first filter would be on the category of person, that is E column, that is being highlighted right now on my screen. So I want the category of person to be promoter and promoter groups only. I do not want the category of person to be director, key managerial, personal, immediate relative, etc. etc. So I will deselect these two and delete all the data. Alright, so what I have done here is I have deleted all the data or all the rows or all the company names which did not have the category of person as promoter or promoter groups. Now, the next filter would be on mode of acquisition, and I want the that is column S. I'm highlighting it currently on my screen. So, okay. So the filter on this would be I want the mode of acquisition to be market purchase only. I do not want it to be gift, ESOP, interstate transfer, market, sale off market, etc. etc. I want it only to be market purchase. So I will deselect this and I'll delete all the rows which have a data otherwise. Okay, once we have done that now, we require only two columns, namely the symbol column and the value of security column. The two columns that are being highlighted right now. We do not need any other columns. So I will just go ahead and delete all these columns. Let me just select them again. Alright. Let me just widen this value of security column and symbol column. Okay, as you might notice that there is a redundancy in the symbol column. As you can see, JKIL is repeating 4 times. Similarly, Ganekos is repeating twice. So this would make our analysis a bit difficult. So I want a consolidated form of data of this particular table. So for that, I will be using the consolidate data tool that is readily available on Excel. And I will select this particular table and I want the top row left column and select OK. Okay, once you are done that, we have got a consolidated form of this particular table. Okay, so now I want the name of those symbols or those stocks which have a value of security greater than or equal to 1 crore. Now, this is a very subjective number. You could change it to 90 lakhs, 80 lakhs, whichever number you feel confident with. But for my analysis, I will be going on with greater than or equal to 1 crore. So let me just sort it from largest to smallest. And I'll delete all the data which have a value of security less than 1 crore. Now I'll copy this down and I'll move to this insider trading master sheet. Now, if you are new to this video and this is your first video on this particular playlist, uh, I would tell you what is the relevance of this master sheet, why we should maintain this, and how will you make this master sheet. So let me first start with why and how. Why we should maintain this particular master sheet. Okay, so at the starting of the video itself, as I explained, that this insider trading report gets updated on a daily basis, and we have to do this analysis on a daily basis. Now you can see that we have almost, okay, sorry, I think I have not copied this down properly. Okay. So now, please ignore the color change for a while now. I'll explain in a couple of minutes. So as you can see, there are almost 50 to 60 stocks, and now it's not possible to analyze and apply our 5 to 6 filters on 50 to 60 stocks on a daily basis. So that's why we maintain a master sheet and we note down the names of the symbols for which we have already done this analysis, in which we have already applied the 5 or 6 filters which we want to apply, based on which we will plan our swing trade. So that's the only reason, and that's very helpful by maintaining insider trading master sheet. Now, if you want to know that how you should make this master sheet from scratch, you could check out my playlist trading on insider information. I have made this whole master sheet from scratch. I will attach the link below in the description box. You could also click on the I button hovering over the upper right corner of your screen. Okay, so let me just apply the conditional formatting in this insider trading master sheet so that I could know that for which stocks I have already done the analysis and I won't do the analysis again for those stocks. So, okay, so as you can see, the stocks which are highlighted in white color or which are not highlighted in red color are the stocks for which are new stocks, in which I have already not applied the filters. Kindly ignore, yeah. So let me just copy them down and paste them in the uh, insider trading master column, if you might call it that. So I'll come here and paste it. So now the next time when I come to this particular Excel sheet, I will know that for these particular stocks, I have already done the analysis and I won't repeat the analysis again. So now the purpose of this has been served. I'll delete them. Okay. So it starts from Godrej Properties. Kindly ignore these three stocks for a while now. Alright. So first stock for today is Godrej Property. Let me just copy them down and now I will tell you that what are the 4 or 5 filters that we have to apply. And I will also explain the color coding on basis of these filters so that it might give you a good idea. Okay, so I'll paste the company name right here. I'll click on Godrej Properties. I'll click on the symbol of Godrej Properties. Okay. Next, I'll click on corporate information to get the data points. Okay, so now I'll be checking 4 things. First would be shareholding pattern, second would be SaaS regulation, third would be promoter encumbrance, and the fourth and optional one is financial results. So let me just tell you that what is the criteria in each one of the following to pass this particular filter. So the shareholding of the stock of promoters should be greater than 50%. In SaaS regulation, there should not be any selling by any mutual fund or any institutional investor or any promoter in the last 6 months. Yeah, please hear the date, the time range very carefully. There should not be any selling in the stock by any institutional investor in the last 6 months. And if there is, we would discard that particular stock and it would fail to pass the SaaS regulation wala criteria. Third one, we will check the promoter encumbrance detail and we will check the percentage of shares pledged. To pass this particular criteria, the percentage of shares pledged should be 0%. And the final one is the financial results. In that, we will check the earnings per share. To pass this particular criteria, which is an optional one, the earnings per share should be greater than 0 or it should be just a positive number in another way. It could be very small positive number like 0.33, but the recent earnings per share should be a positive number. So let's apply these filters right away on Godrej Properties. So first one is shareholding pattern. So as you can see, the recent shareholding pattern of promoter and promoter group is 58.44%, which is greater than 50%. So it passes this particular criteria. Let's check the SaaS regulation. So as you can see on 5th of July 2021, there has been a selling reported. So it is within the range of 6 months. So this particular stock failed that particular criteria. There should not be any selling to pass this criteria. So we will discard the stock and mark the stock as red. Now, the three criterias, namely the SaaS regulation, promoter encumbrance, and shareholding, are the primary criterias or mandatory criterias. And the fourth one, financial results, is an optional criteria. Now, the color coding goes as following. If any particular stock fails to pass any one of the mandatory criteria, then I will mark it as red. If a particular stock passes all the three mandatory criteria but fails to pass the financial results wala criteria, that is an optional one, I'll mark that stock as yellow, as I mentioned Mahin CIE right here. Third case is when a particular stock passes all the four criteria, I'll mark it as green, as I did in KICL, Welland, etc. etc. So let's move forward with the next stock, that is SBI cards, and let's just fast forward the process a little bit. So I'll paste the company name right here. I'll click on SBI card, click on SBI card again. Scroll down and go to corporate information. Let's check the shareholding. So as you can see, latest shareholding is greater than 50%, passed the criteria. Next one is SaaS regulation. Okay, there has been a quantity sold on 23rd of June. So we will discard this particular stock and mark it as red. Next is Majesco. Click on Majesco symbol. Scroll down and move to corporate information. Check the shareholding. Okay, so as you can see, shareholding of promoter is less than 50%. So we can discard the stock again and paint it as red. Star Cement, same process. We have to repeat the same process to all the stocks. Click on this symbol. Go to corporate information. Check the shareholding. Shareholding is good. SaaS regulation. Okay, there has been a selling reported on 5th of July. That is less than 6 months. So we'll color the stock red again. Let's move on to the next stock. Go to corporate information. Let's check the shareholding. So shareholding is greater than 50%. Although it's at the very margin, but we will stick to the rules. Our rule says it should be greater than 50% and it is greater. So we will, this particular stock passed the shareholding wala criteria. Next is SaaS regulation. There has been no selling reported. Okay, sorry, there was a selling reported. Okay, no, there was a buying, not selling. Sorry, really sorry. So it passed the SaaS regulation also. Next, we will go to the third and the last mandatory criteria, that is promoter encumbrance. The percentage of shares pledged according to our rules should be 0%, and it is 0% right here. So we will move on to the optional criteria, that is financial results. The latest earnings per share is a positive number. So it passed all the four criteria. That's why I'll mark this particular stock as green. Next is MB Finance. Paste the company name here. Click on this symbol and go to corporate information to get the data. Let's check the shareholding pattern. Shareholding of promoter is greater than 50%. SaaS regulation looks good. There is no pledging. Let's check the financial result. The latest earnings per share is a positive number. So again, this passed all the four criteria and mark it as green. Let's move on to the next stock. Move on to the corporate information and let's start with the shareholding. It's greater than 50%. SaaS regulation. Okay, there has been a selling reported on 4th of May. That is less than 6 months. So I'll mark this particular stock as red because it failed to pass one of the mandatory criteria. Next stock is MGEL. Let's click on this symbol. Go to corporate information. You can check any of the criteria first. It does, the sequence does not matter. Let's check the shareholding. Shareholding is greater than 50%. Let's check the SaaS regulation. All right. So yeah, there is no selling reported in the last 6 months. So it passed the SaaS regulation also. Next is pledging. There is no pledging of the shares. So it passed all the three mandatory criteria. Now let's check the optional criteria of financial result. Yeah, the earnings per share is very low, but it's a positive number, and our rule says it should just be a positive number. So okay, I'll mark this stock as green once again. Moving on to the next stock. Click on the symbol. Let's go to corporate information. Let's check the shareholding. Shareholding is good. SaaS regulation, no selling reported. Pledging, okay, so there is a pledging of 8.33%. According to our rules, it should be 0%. So it failed to pass one of the mandatory criteria. So I'll mark this stock as red. Let's move on to Glenmark. Corporate information, shareholding pattern. Okay, so the shareholding of promoter and promoter group, the latest shareholding is less than 50%, so it failed the primary criteria or the mandatory criteria. So I am marking this as red. Next is Ensilent. Click on the symbol of Ensilent. Go to corporate information, check the shareholding patterns. Again, the promoter and promoter group is less than 50%. So I'll mark this particular stock as red once again. Next is JSW Energy. Corporate information and go to the shareholding pattern. So the promoter have a shareholding of 74%, good. SAS regulation, there has been a selling reported on 1st of April. That is only 3 months. So there should not be any selling according to our rules in the last 6 months. So it failed the primary criteria or the mandatory criteria. So I'll mark the stock as red. Okay, so we have got three green stocks which have passed all the criterias or all the filters which we applied on the insider trading report. Now, so these are the stocks which will be going on to my swing trading watch list. But now you might notice that there are some numbers written in front of these green stocks. What are those? So I'll tell you in a couple of minutes and how to calculate them. So before that, I'll tell you what the problem is and why the need of calculating those numbers. Now, these three stocks are going into my watch list. But the question is, at what price should I buy this particular stock? So these numbers would be the answers. We will try to buy these stocks at very close to the average price at which the promoters bought this particular stock. Now, how will we calculate that? I'll tell you in a minute. So copy this stock name once again. Go to the site, NSE's website, paste the company name here and click on it. Okay. Now click on the 3 months data again and download this CSV file. Open this. Okay. So now this particular Excel sheet or this particular report is the insider trading report of this particular stock only. The first file which we downloaded, that was this one. It was the insider trading report of the whole financial market. But this particular insider trading report is just for this particular stock for 3 months, for 14th of April to 14th of July. So now we will be calculating the average price at which the promoters entered into this particular stock. But before doing the calculation, we would apply some filters that we applied on the very first Excel sheet. So the first filter would be on the category of person. The category of person should be promoter. We don't have to apply the filter, we could just manually do it because there are only two rows. So as you can clearly see that we have to delete this particular row since it had the category of person as others. We need the category of person to be promoter only. Second thing we have to apply on the mode of acquisition, second filter, it should be market purchase. So it's that only. Okay, now we will go on to the calculation stuff. The calculation is pretty easy. We will divide the total value of security by total number of security. That would give us the average price. So here we have only one value of security and one number of security. So we'll just straight away go and divide the total value of security by number of security. So this is the average price at which the promoter entered. So let me just write it down. 554.86. This is the average price at which the promoter entered. Now, one thing to note is that it is quite difficult to enter at this exact price point, but we can keep a range of plus minus 5% to enter into this particular stock. Now, we just we won't just jump directly into this particular stock when it hits 555. We have to check that at which date the particular promoter entered into this stock and what happened after this particular date, the date of allotments and date of intimation, etc. etc. I won't discuss the importance of these dates in this particular video. It's beyond the scope of this video. If you want to know the relevance of the liquidity, of the date of allotment and date of intimation, etc., etc., and how we should check the liquidity, how should we check the volumes, what are, why is it relevant? If you want to know all these things, I would highly recommend you to go and just check out the fourth part of my playlist, trading on insider information. Check out only the part 4 if you want to know the importance of the dates, that how we should plan our trade according to the date of allotment and intimation. I'll provide the link for that particular video separately in the comment section, sorry, in the description box. You could also hover over the I button in the top right corner of your screen. I will post that there too. All right. So now we have to calculate the average price for NB Finance and MGEL2. We would apply the same process, copy the name, go back here, paste the name here, click on this, click on 3 months just to be sure. Uh, Download the insider trading report of NB Finance. Open the Excel sheet. All right, so we have to apply the filter. We could do that manually pretty easily. The category of person or promoter group, no need to delete any row. Mode of acquisition is market purchase for both of them. Now we will calculate the average price. So first we will sum the total number of security, and secondly we will sum the total value of security. This is the total value of security and this is the total number of security. Now we have to divide the total value of security by total number of security. It's pretty easy maths. It's just calculating the average price. Uh, let me decrease the number of zeros. Yeah, 2233.75. So let me just note it down. This is the average price we would try to enter into this particular stock after checking and analyzing the stock, that what happened after the date of allotment and what is the liquidity, what are the volumes like, etc. etc. And we would try to enter in this particular range of plus minus 5% of this particular number. Next stock is MGEL. 3 months, and download the file. Open it. Okay, so first would be on the category of person, the filter. So as you can see, we have only three promoter and promoter group. Promoter group will do. So we'll delete rest of them. We do not need them. Okay, I don't know what happened. Let me just select again. Yeah. Next filter would be on mode of acquisition. It is market purchase only. So again, the same step. We will sum up the number of security, that will give us the total number of security, and then we will sum up the total value of security. Uh, After that, we will just divide the total value of security by total number of security. Let me just decrease the decimal points. 47.99. So I'll mark this. All right. So these are the average prices at which the promoters entered into these particular stock, and the dates they entered are approximately these dates of allotment and intimations. Okay, so this was all for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions regarding the sound quality, regarding the video quality, etc., etc., or you have any doubts regarding the analysis, then please feel free to mention them in the comment section below. I will really try to improvise myself. So thank you for watching. See you in the next one.